Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Big Dan Dangerous. Welcome to another edition of the Danger Zone. I am actually here with Juan Loco. How you doing, Juan?
I am doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great today. So, I actually have a quick question. Why did you drop the super gimmick?
Well, Dan, as we all know, if you're going to be a superpower, you can't lose. And that's one thing that I've actually had a lot of experience with is losing. And I felt that it's necessary to drop the super gimmick and kind of just watch and observe and commentate. That's what I've been doing. Dan, I have a question for you though. Do you have any more alcohol?
I have tons of alcohol.
All right, we're gonna pour a drink here. So next question.
All right. So you haven't been in the ring for a long time now. So what's going on? Do we plan to see Loco back in the ring anytime soon, or?
Well, if you've been watching, you have seen not only Greg Knight abusing his power, but
now was on here last podcast.
Yes, that was a good podcast, by the way. Now you have Tony Taylor, who's now in charge of the shows on a weekly basis when he's here.
Not too sure how I feel about that yet.
Well, here's how I feel. I feel that if I do what I'm told, and I sit back and relax, I will keep my job. I am one of the very few people. Oh, Jesus Christ! I am one of the very few people that have been told.
We have a bartender that's a little happy with the pours.
Yes. Oh, that's an overpour. I'm one of the very few people that have been told I'm going to actually keep my job here in the CWA. It's kind of nice. Ice.
So what? You saying you have a personal relationship with Tony? Is that
no?
What's going on?
Well, I mean, if you count rubbing his leg under the announce table, but no. You know what? When it all boils down to it, we're all dependent. You've been in the announce booth for a while. We are the heart and soul of the weekly shows. We have to announce, commentate, keep an eye on what's going on, and I feel that stepping back and actually doing this has helped out. So I feel that I'm more of a necessity now rather than a loser, which all those little bastards call me in the front row. Anyway.
All right. I want you to do a little word association with me right now. I'm going to say a name, and I want you to tell me what comes to your mind.
To my hide?
To your mind. Riley O'Doyle.
Sucks! Okay, O'Doyle does not rule, all right? Although he's been kind of put between a rock and a hard place lately, I'd like to hit him in the head with a rock and then bury him under a hard place. And continue.
All right. I'm going to go with some more names here because there's a lot that's been going on in the CWA, and you, like you said, you've been observing and watching, and I want you to feel free in the danger zone. I don't want you to think that you're going to get fired or anything like that with whatever you say. So, Riley O'Doyle was the first one. The next name, Lethal.
Oh, man. Wife beater. Women beater. Spoiled baby. Crybaby. I'm probably going to get in trouble for this, ain't I?
It's okay. I'm asking the question, so how do you think I feel?
All right. You know what? I have a lot of respect for Lethal. He's been around for a long time. He's been put in matches that... let's just put it this way. He has held the most #1 contendership spots here in the CWA. I feel that his time is not now. It is not here. It has come and gone. Perhaps he should maybe insert himself into something else. Focus, whatever you want to call it, focus on something other than the CWA title. Unfortunately for him, he cannot beat Chi-Town Legend. Okay?
Oh, yeah, we've seen that.
I feel like, it's one of those guys that, you get like an associate's degree and you're trying to just become a doctor. Not going to happen. I have a lot of respect for what he does in the ring. I have a lot of respect for what he does outside of the ring. However, I think that if he focused his time and energy on something other than the CWA title, it would be very profitable in a sense for Lethal, especially being a Tony Taylor guy.
Speaking of Tony Taylor, guys, that's my next question.
Oh, jeez.
End of days, we saw Tony the Man Taylor get the group of Jeff the Machine Gun Steeples, Wolf Cage, Darren Stryker, and Lethal. How do you feel about that grouping?
I've said this not only in commentary, but behind the scenes, that was by far, in my opinion, the best Survivor-style team you could have possibly put together. Tony Taylor behind the scenes is a mastermind. He's a smart guy, okay? We all know this. But in the ring, in CWA, he's a mastermind as far as putting teams together. He's always associated himself with people who are winners, with the exception of maybe Vince Valhalla.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Winners. Is it true or not true that every time Tony the Man Taylor has managed a single person, not a team like at End of Days, every time they've gone for the big win, they've never come through? They've always just fallen short.
Yeah, that's true. But, oh, you really got me there, actually. There's really no buts there. That's actually a really good one. Perhaps he's a little overzealous. Maybe, you ever watch the Rocky movies there, Dan?
Yes.
Okay, you know when Rocky, like, he's built up for Mr. T, but he's not really in the zone and he loses to Mr. T? Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, perhaps Tony gets a little overconfident with himself, with his men, his soldiers, and sends them into battle when they're, a little bit premature. The same can be said about the Dark Entity. I mean, a lot of those guys get sent into battle by Greg Knight or Night Terror, whoever the leader of that thing is. God only knows. So, yeah, I'll give you that, but as far as a team, I look at Tony Taylor's team at End of Days, as being like the future capitalists. It was actually talked about behind the scenes. A lot of people looked at them as the new capitalists. Now, granted, the music was never a hit. Nobody really ever thought it, although Juan Loco thought it. And granted, it didn't happen, but it's definitely a team they have to deal with.
All right. You see, with Tony the Man Taylor, I see it as this. He sees the picture. He sees what's at the end of the rainbow or the end of the path or whatever. He just doesn't have the destination or the pieces to complete the picture. Like, whenever he's had Vincent Valhalla or Lethal as by themselves, it was never the full picture. But as soon as he made that powerhouse team, that was the full picture.
You want to know why, Dan? It's because they worked together. Very few people here in the CWA work together. Okay? You've seen General Joe, you've seen Jeff Steeples, you've seen Michael Andrews, Chi-Town Legend. Very few CWA champions here.
It's true.
Those men can be considered the top of their game, top of the food chain, okay? And I'll be honest, I never saw General Joe becoming CWA champion on his own, but he did because of a team. But even after that team folded, look at where General Joe went.
Look where he is now.
Yes. One of the top performers here in the CWA. So, as a team, I think Tony Taylor's guys, I don't know if they're all guys or not, Jeff Steeples is claiming he's not a CWA guy or a Tony Taylor guy, whatever. Bottom line is...
Give it time. I have a feeling.
But look at what Tony's given him. So working as a team, working cooperatively with Tony Taylor, you get what you want. Now, granted, earlier this week, he wasn't successful over Chi-Town Legend. I get that. But Steeples has already held the title twice. It's inevitable he will hold it again. With Tony Taylor's mentality, his tutelage, let's put it that way. I see good things for Jeff Steeples. I see good things for Lethal. I see great things for Wolf Cage. He's already holding the Second City briefcase.
The second to none briefcase.
Yes. I see good things for a lot of those guys. As a team. Maybe they need to keep each other's, watch each other's backs, okay? Let's put it that way.
Okay. Going to the second to none briefcase and Wolf Cage. Night Terror had the Second City title. And we can understand why Wolf Cage wouldn't want to turn it in when he had it. But now that Corn-Fed Kenny has it, do you think that Wolf Cage will turn it in?
Oh, absolutely. It's only a matter of time. Corn-Fed, I love Corn-Fed. I'm glad that he's still around. He postponed that retirement. But
for good reason.
Yes, but, look at his match the other day. General Joe, former CWA champion twice. Would have been a great opportunity to cash it in. However, Wolf Cage wasn't in attendance. You and I both know Corn-Fed. He's been up in the commentary booth with us. He shows up half drunk half the time.
He brings me good moonshine.
Yes. How hard... Wait a minute.
Never mind. Just keep going.
Yeah, we'll save that for another day. How hard would it be to cash in on somebody when he's half drunk in the ring? Like, I'll give it to Corn-Fed. He's got... he's got the crowd behind him. He's got a lot of momentum. He's postponing his retirement. He's got a vendetta against the Dark Entity. It's only a matter of time before... he gets so caught up in that he's blindsided by Wolf Cage. It's going to happen Mark my words.
All right. Good to know where you stand on that. Speaking of the Dark Entity, here, we're getting into the meat and potatoes of what's been going on in CWA as of late. Dark. Yeah, I'm hungry. I know. We have seen so much happen in 2014. The Dark Entity make an appearance. The Dark Entity dominating everyone that they get in the ring with.
Oh, yeah.
The revealing of Greg Knight as Blackbird.
Yeah, all that.
Becoming the voice of the Entity. The new, I guess you could say, recruit Enigma, where we don't know anything about his backstory.
Well, he's an enigma, but
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, well, understand.
Anyway.
Yeah, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. I know. I need to know where you stand on a lot of this. I mean, everything from the formula of the Entity to the dominating factor that they've just been destroying. Pretty much they've been destroying CWA. Not just their people, but it doesn't matter what faction you're in. The Dark Entity has been destroying CWA. And the fact that Greg Knight has turned his back on Matt Wild and CWA on the moment, all he did was take off his mask, and he turned his back on everybody. So, just what are your thoughts on all this?
All right, Dan, here's the problem. I've been here since day one. We've had power struggles since day one. We've seen the capitalists come and go. Michael Andrews trying to take over the CWA. RBK get control of the CWA. We dealt with Chaz Lipton. Now we have to deal with God only knows how this power struggle works. It's like a trifecta. You got Greg Knight on one end. You got Tony Taylor on one end. You got RBK on one end. Everybody has their troops. Tony has his. Greg Knight has his. RBK has whoever's following him. My thoughts on this is 2015 is going to be a very impactful, if impactful is a word, impactful
It
year.
is now. We'll give it to you this time.
I saw good things. Well, actually, I should say I saw bad things with the capitalists. Although, you know, they were kind of like that group that got over with everybody. You hated them, but you respected them.
You love to hate them.
Yes, you love to hate them. They're gone. Now you have, going after the capitalists, the MWA. Now, everybody, except for a couple of little snot-nosed brats, hated them. Okay, you can't help but cheer for somebody that hands you a handkerchief. They have plenty to go around. Anyway, after the MWA and their failed invasion was over, now you have the Dark Entity. Nobody saw them coming. They completely blindsided everybody. So now they're here, and I really don't see them going away. They're a very mysterious group. You have a lot of strong people behind that group. You have Greg Knight, the voice of them, the voice of the voiceless, right? You have Enigma, who was brought in, and nobody even knew who this guy was. He shows up on a whim and attacks our internet champion, Franklin Cold, at the time. You have Knight.
If I ever get Greg Knight in here again, I'll ask him if he knows about it.
I don't want to talk to Greg Knight. Greg Knight needs to get his shit together. I think he's in a dark place right now, and he needs to find a way.
That man is psychotic.
He
scared me when he was in here.
He needs Jesus. Or Jesus, or I have a cousin named Jesus. Maybe you can talk to him.
I think he responds to a lower power, if you know.
I don't want to know. Let's forget about. Listen, Dan, I know you're a big Greg Knight fan. Let's just chill.
I was, but now he terrifies me, so I don't know where I stand.
I see his posters on your kitchen door. Anyway,
He autographed it. What do you want from me?
so we have. I already forgot my train of thought. Thank you very much. Back on track here. So
Right.
we have Greg Knight. And now Night Terror, that's what I was getting.
There you go.
Night Terror. Night Terror is like the most, I guess, underestimated person here in the CWA, okay? He has yet to become CWA champion, however, he has been the Second City champion. He's been the only man in the CWA to have obtained the MWA championship. He's on a roll. Expect big things for him this year. So
I expect big things from him a lot of
the
times.
team there, you have Greg Knight, the mastermind behind, I'm going to call him the mastermind behind the Dark Entity. You have Enigma, the soldier, the front runner. You have Night Terror,
That man terrifies
the
me.
powerhouse, and then you have, of course, your lackeys, Sin and Crow, to carry out your orders. I mean, how can you go wrong with a group like that? It's like bringing us back to medieval times.
All right. Speaking of the group of the Dark Entity, and going back to what we were talking about earlier, the group of the Tony Man Taylor, if you ever see these two groups colliding for a power struggle, who would you put your money on?
I'm going to tell you right now, if that happens, I hope I'm not anywhere near the building. Okay? Because I really... All right, let's bring this back to end of days. You look at Tony Taylor's team, and you look at the Dark Entity. Oh my God, can you... If those two were headlining a match, I don't want to be around here. That's like... It's unbearable. This place would fall to the ground.
You have... On one side, you have the powerhouse Jeff Steeples. You have another powerhouse in Wolf Cage. You pretty much have three powerhouses on Tony the Man Taylor's team, but then you have the, I guess you can say, almost mad scientist genius of Lethal. I mean, yes, Tony the Man Taylor knows how to work the political side, but let's face it, Lethal knows how to lead his team. And on the other side, you have Enigma, which we really don't know anything about except he's a raw power. You know, Night Terror, who's pretty much pure evil. Sin, I really don't know much about him. I know that he can take a lot of punishment and he follows Night Terror around like a little dog. Then you have Crow, which I personally think the rest of the entity...
Crow's a little bitch.
Thank you.
Let's just point it out.
And then you have Greg Knight. Now, Greg Knight is insane. So people can't really judge where he's going to go.
Greg Knight. I told you, you're infatuated.
I'm sorry, but it's true.
You have a boner right now.
Yes, but not from Greg Knight. It's a completely different story. I put Viagra in my beer, so... Anyways. But yeah, you have Powerhouse and the mad genius of Lethal and then the insane genius of Greg Knight. So yeah, I agree with you. If these two teams ever collide, I don't want to be in the state, let alone anything else.
Well, the problem I see with that is the fact that Lethal, the powerhouses that make up his team, Tony Taylor's team, I can't see them actually working together. That's the problem. See, the thing about Tony Taylor is you got Jeff Steeples, he's kind of out for himself. You got Lethal, who's never been better, in my opinion, without the tutelage, again, we're going to use the tutelage word, of Tony Taylor. You have Wolf Cage that really kind of never found his way until he got the tutelage of Tony Taylor. So, I mean, and then, of course, Darren Stryker, the man out of left field, Darren, the mercenary of CWA. I don't know, if you really had to go down to it, if this is what you're getting at, Dan, Tony's team would definitely take the cake there. But at the same time, Night Terror, Greg Knight, Crow, Sin, Enigma, they don't seem like the team that's willing to go down without a fight. So I guess we'll have to wait till this year's end of days to figure that out if that happens. Those guys are still around, but you never know. Well,
one more entity Tony Taylor combo question that I want to ask.
Oh, only one more. Okay.
Only one more.
It's only been in 5.
You have the entity, you have the Tony Taylor guys. If you were going to put these guys in dream matchups, what matchups would you see these factions doing?
Well, there's 5 and 5 there. I'd really have to see the two masterminds, the voices of Tony Taylor go against Greg Knight. That's a given.
That's kind of one-sided, don't you think?
Well,
I've never seen Tony in the ring,
but I've seen Greg Knight in the ring.
Yeah, he likes hardcore.
No, he does. He does like it hardcore. Should talk to his wife. Anyway,
giggity.
Moving beyond that, let's see. The two powerhouses. Well, that would definitely be. Well, let's go with the two big men. That would have to be Night Terror and Jeff Steeples, and we've already seen that numerous times.
Many times.
And I'll be honest though, who takes the cake every time though? Night Terror. Night Terror has already won. Night Terror has won up Jeff Steeples.
Yeah, but Jeff Steeples has this new attitude now. I mean, look at his shirt. Be heel like Steeples.
He's also beating up people in the stands and throwing stuffed animals.
He doesn't care.
He's throwing temper tantrums. You know what happens when you throw a temper tantrum? You're spanked. You're put in a corner. Okay, he could be the biggest, baddest man on the roster, but when he throws a little temper tantrum like a little bitch, you're put in timeout.
It's true. Look what happened when he lost the NWA title.
Exactly. Greg Knight, Tony Taylor, RBK, they need to put him in timeout, make him think about what he did, rub his face in it, over and done. Okay. Let's see here. I would love to see Wolf Cage go against Crow, because I guarantee Crow is going to be too busy figuring out why he's here and what he's doing, and he will just be put in his place by Wolf Cage. Then that brings me to Sin. Sin.
You like the one-sided matches so far, don't you?
Well,
except for the Jeff Steeples Night Terror, you pretty much like the one-sided.
That's the problem. Like Sin and I don't look at Sin and Crow as being a really dominant force. I mean, Sin's been.
Well, here's the thing.
Sin has been on guard duty for the last 3 months.
Here's the thing about Sin and Crow. I'm going to throw a word at you. Or technically 2 words. Tag team.
Let me throw one word at you. Losers. They got about as much potential as the Hero Squad. I know I'm talking shit about myself, but you get what I'm saying. Let's just face it. I carried the team, okay? Toxic dropped the ball more times than none. He lost our match against Riley O'Doyle at Maximum Carnage. Come on. So you can say tag team all you want. I say losers. So honestly, I don't know. I really have to say, like, in singles matches, those would be the top 3 that I named. You got Greg Knight and Tony Taylor. You got Lethal and...
You'd have left would be Lethal and Enigma.
Yeah, Lethal and Enigma, and you got Jeff Steeples and Night Terror. Who cares about Sin and Krog? If we had to go tag team route, Darren Stryker and Wolf Cage were the team up. Oh my God, I don't even want to call that one. That'll be over before the bell rang.
All right. Going back to End of Days, when the main event happened, Tony the Man Taylor against RBK, who were you rooting for? I know I'm putting you on the spot, and we have new ownership or whatever, but who are you more behind?
Well, I'm a dear friend of RBK, as much as I hate to admit it. I love RBK. He's always been there for me. However, I really didn't expect him to have much of a chance against Tony Taylor's team. I said that even weeks before that, but, it is what it is. I didn't see Vince Valhalla coming back. That was kind of a curveball, but when I saw him eliminated, it's like...
no one expected Darren Stryker to be back either. That was a slight curveball.
Yeah, well, he came back weeks before. In a minute, I already said the minute Darren Stryker was recruited as a 4th man, when I originally thought Tony Taylor was going to be the 4th man, yeah, that was it. I mean, I'm sorry. I know RBK's going to listen to this at some point or another, but I really didn't have much hope for the team. Even when Vince Valhalla came out, I mean, it was like, oh, yeah, here we go. This is the momentum he needs. But when he was eliminated, no, that's it. I'm sorry.
Okay. 2015. I want to hear some of your predictions for 2015. We're going to wrap this entire thing up, and I want to hear your predictions for 2015.
2015. Gold Rush will be a show not to miss. Let me tell you that.
Well, it never is.
Juan Loco will make his in-ring debut, return, whatever you want to call it.
You're coming back.
I will eventually probably come back.
I am looking forward to that day, actually.
I've already been talking to RBK about it. Right now, I'm not really happy with the way things are going, so I'm just going to kind of skate by and...
So you're going to stay commentary for
Well,
that?
I mean, let's face it. There's too many power-hungry people involved. So I'm not getting looked at. I'm not getting yelled at. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I've been headlining every single Extreme for as far as I can remember. Let's see. I expect a return for the tag titles. It's going to happen.
So you accept the Hero Squad may be coming back?
Well, that's the problem. I really don't see Toxic becoming a big part of 2015. In fact, I've heard that he's probably on his way out. He's done with it. He's had his fair share, and
because he only talks to you. I can't understand half the things he's saying because it's some messed up sign language that he does.
All you gotta do is hand him a piece of paper. He writes everything out. You should see his cursive. It's amazing.
It's like calligraphy, isn't it? That's what I heard. It's like whatever.
If you could read it, I wouldn't call it calligraphy. I mean, who draws with their own poop on a piece of paper? Anyway, forget it.
Maybe that's why I haven't hit on paper yet.
He's not coming back. So as far as the Hero Squad coming back, I don't see that. But the tag titles, I guarantee they're gonna make their return. I've heard a lot of buzz in the back about people wanting to team up, wondering what the hell happened to those. The MWA did not necessarily destroy them. They threw them in the garbage. They didn't unify them. They didn't go away. I'll tell you right now, some people that I would expect to come back. Michael Andrews will eventually be back. We've already heard Greg Knight talk about bringing him back.
And bringing him back at the awards show, but...
Well, we have to see this, but, you never know.
But just because he comes to the award show doesn't mean he's going to come back in the ring. I mean, he could disappear again after the award show.
You never know. I have a feeling that if he's brought back, the entity either has a reason for bringing him back, or nothing, because I don't really see anything happening from that, but you never know.
It's true.
I'm willing to bet that RBK had something to do with his kidnapping. I've said that before. I'll say it again.
You and your conspiracy theories.
Darren Stryker, bringing him back for End of Days. I don't think that's the last time we're going to see him being the mercenary. He's on somebody's payroll. Obviously, Tony Taylor's. We will see him again.
Well, he's got the money to do it.
Greg Knight, his days are numbered. The Entity, I can't say that their days are numbered, but I see a power struggle there. The same thing goes for Tony Taylor's guys. There's going to be a power struggle. Those guys have too much of a big head. The problem I see with Night Terror and the Entity and Greg Knight's, he's the voice of them, but being the commissioner, he's got some power. Night Terror does not agree with power.
That's true. And like you said, almost everybody in Taylor's guys are, I guess, not main event guys. Of course, a couple of them are, but You got Darren Stryker and also Wolf Cage, who are close to being main event guys, but they all have huge egos. So I'm surprised they worked as well as they did.
Exactly. But, nonetheless, all individuals are powerhouses. I see big ears for all of them. If they stick around.
So you mean stick as a team?
No, stick around in general. I mean, not necessarily a team. I think they would do just fine on their own. But sticking around, we've had... Come on. Dan, you and I both know we've had problems with people with attendance. People, they leave. They have creative differences. You know how this goes. If everybody sticks around, I see big things for all of them.
Okay. Well, last thoughts? You talked about the tag team titles coming back. One name, if you could have any partner in the CWA.
Me?
Yes. Any partner, no restrictions, no anything, any partner to tag with you for the tag team titles.
Listen, I think it's time that Juan Loco does his own thing. I don't need a partner. I don't need the tag titles. I'm not even going to focus on that crap.
All right. Well, thank you. Well, this is big.
Juan Loco for president. Juan Loco for CWA champion and maybe president in 2015. It's going to happen. Why do you laugh at me? Don't laugh at me.
This is Big Dan Dangerous, and thank you once again, Juan Loco, for coming to the Danger Zone.
Yeah.
See you guys in 2 weeks. Don't forget, January 30th is a CWA award show.
Maybe the 31st.
31st. Thank you. I'm sorry, too much to drink. Or maybe sniffing glue. I'm not too sure yet. All right, guys. See you guys later. See you guys later.